Alrighty guys, and welcome back to an education form of Dead by Daylight survivor game. Now we have spawned right beside our allies. What's the best thing we can do at the start of a trial is divide and conquer, split and apply pressure elsewhere. I hear somebody working on that gen there. I don't really want to be running in the same direction as the player behind me, however I do want to get towards a generator. We have to keep in mind that this killer can mask his heartbeat. The good news about this killer is even with his masked heartbeat, oh hey cutie, even with his masked heartbeat, I can still see him because there's a difference between having oblivious and having undetectable. So he has thrill of a hunt, he got it down very quickly, and he's got hex ruin. So we know where one of his two totems are. In a perfect world, we're able to savo this totem. It's going to mean he either loses, you know, he might actually have 3 totems, he might even have... He gets a notification. You notice why is he going over there? Oh, he's going into a door. Okay, I was going to say, perhaps he's checking on another totem. I have to stay in greed for this. Getting this out of the way means he's losing 1 of 4 of his perks. Alright, I don't know what he lost. What I do know is it's something that's most likely going to be valuable for him. People don't run Hex Thrill of the Hunt unless they're trying to preserve something important. I don't want to work on this generator because it's isolated in the corner. However, looks like we didn't even get a generator that spawns here. Now, I'm going to break this totem because Thrill of a Hunt for every totem that is currently in the game makes savoing the following totems harder. Now, I know that he has Thrill of a Hunt and Hex Ruin. He could have Devour Hope, he could have Horn of Ground, he could have Hex Plaything, he could have a number of different choices. What I do know is breaking this totem, he can't bring it back. There is a perk he can have to bring back broken totems, but at the current point, I haven't seen him use any of that. Now, normally I'm somebody that works from generator to generator, applies pressure as quickly as possible, based on the fact that the way to lose this game is off of generators. I'm actually going to work on this gen here. I don't think he'll be able to come up behind me and get the jump on me from behind, so we're going to just proceed to work here. Now, I am running a perk called Fogwise. Fogwise is a really fun perk. When you start landing greats consistently, you can miss 1 or 2, but when you start landing greats consistently on a generator, you are going to be looking at having massive information of where the killer is and what the killer is doing for 6 seconds. So that makes my ability to macro a lot smoother. He's trying to take a shortcut. I'm going to use high knees. He let go of the axe based on the fact that it increases his movement speed by 5%. I can hear the gen above me, so I'm going to curve out and he has to make a decision. Okay, that was not the right decision. You just... Oh, I'm running to another gen that's nearly done. This is why Quick Gambit would have been a great perk. We hear 2 gens nearly done. Alright, he's going to kick the gen, and depending on... No, he's not. You see, I heard the gen was nearly completed. Now this gen falls to my responsibility. The bad news is he's chasing Laura Croft, which is a person he had already injured. So, with Quick Gambit, I would have been able to see that it was Laura, based on the fact the other 2 are gentlemen, and I would have ran him away from Laura. Unfortunately, I ran the killer to an ally who has already been hooked. Not the best play made by me. Now, the good news is we got 2 gens done for the price of it. The bad news is he still has his lit totems. We don't know what else he still has available. I'm going to be quiet for a second here while I listen through walls. I know that sounds weird for the totem. I don't hear anything. Alright, so he has Hex Face the Darkness as well. It's a good thing I broke one of the dull totems because it will spawn on a dull totem. So let's keep that in mind. Somebody else is breaking another totem now while the killer is in chase with a different player. The good news is he didn't get a follow-up down. Rather than me looking for other totems as well, I have my teammate who's currently working on 1 totem, I'm working on a gen, and the player that he's already hooked is now in chase of the killer. Ideally, he doesn't get pressure on that player. We are screaming a lot from Hex Face the Darkness. It is quite annoying to deal with, but the mathematic aspect of it is they nerfed Hex Face the Darkness, so you won't scream before you can savo the totem, which is good. It used to be at like 18 seconds while it was 20, so they could keep the totems up for a long time, if not indefinitely, unless you had a perk. It's not like that anymore, which is fantastic. Good. He broke one of the totems. The killer still has a lit totem. We can see on the right-hand side of the screen. Alright. I would like to evade him because I want to work on the gen with information on Fogwise. There's no one else working on gens, so I feel it is quite crucial that I get generator work done here. He takes an M1. This is very awkward for how things are looking right now. I think he might have seen me stick my nose out. Alright, change of plans. I'm going to have to cycle up, round, and then just drop down on him. Just use line of sight to block him. Okay. I will leave. I really want to work on that generator, but I can't do it from this direction. I did drop my med kit, and we got a smoke bomb in wake of it, which is actually not a bad choice. We do have one person working on a gem. The person he is chasing, 2 people working on the same gem. The person he's currently chasing isn't on death hook. She has to be very careful on death hook. I also noticed the killer hit her and she didn't go down, so I know she has access to dead hard or off the record. I don't think it was off the record because it was more than 90 seconds, but dead hard makes sense. I know this gentleman has at least 3 totem perks. I expect him to have a full totem build, so I'm not expecting pain res, which is good. I'll let him see me after he does his hook so he doesn't chase her. She needs to run. I need to let him see me, not her. You see that? Alright, now the reason I do that, he goes into the door. That's a very clever play by him. She needs to be careful because she's on death hook. I need her to see that I'm going in for the save. That way she doesn't come in, because if he comes straight back out the door, I'm still feeling pretty comfortable. He hasn't came out, he hasn't seen anyone, he hasn't done anything yet. Alright. I don't know why the other guy's coming in. Here he comes, we can hear him in the door. That's unfortunate. Alright. We gotta let go of the axe. I was very close to getting my exhaustion back. When I don't have the axe, he moves slower too, which is nice. Alright, let's move all the way around here. I could have used a fog bomb to assist my allies just then. I could have used a fog bomb to kind of block his line of sight as well. It's not too good, but still, something is better than nothing. If Laura... Yeah, Laura should heal me. However, I see that lit totem right there. It's kind of hard to not see. We should run away. Laura needs to run because she's on death hook. She can't take a body block. She can't be seen right now. 1 gen left. She is most likely going to be chased. I'm going to drop that. If he comes to me, awesome. If he goes for her, bad. I hear he's getting louder. The thing is, her scratch marks are completely invisible while in. He's still coming. Alright. She should be looking... He doesn't have that kind of range. Yep. Alright. I will go down for her rather than her getting hit, based on the fact that it doesn't matter if I get caught. I'm not dead. I'd really like my totem here. Harpy's getting really loud. Yep, so he's stuck to me, which I find very interesting. Yeah, I had a feeling he'd try something like that. That was a very good hatchet. I was trying to take spacing and run to the next loop because I knew it was a very unsafe loop. Now, the reason he dropped the hatchet is because he would have got 5% movement speed. Bad movement by me, but regardless, I go down and it's worth it. Why is it worth it? Because the person on death hook, he didn't end up chasing. He ended up coming after me. So despite me waiting around and letting him see me and all that kind of jazz, turns out that it was the correct call because the person that he was going to eliminate out of the trial is no longer eliminated out of the trial. Now, if you're really clever, you're going to prep the door. Unfortunately, this is solo queue, and she's going to go for the quick blood points because blood points are easier rather than going for the door. No one is on chase that is on death hook. If she went to the door, the information through Kindred, the other teammates could come, and then if the killer went to play to a proxy around me, the killer would have had no value. So in a situation like that, just be mindful, especially with information through Kindred. You should be playing towards the strongest suit, and the strongest suit is to know what the killer is currently doing, where the killer currently is going, and opening the exit gate, having preparation so the person on hook can jump straight on out. Alright, we're going to finish healing, and then we're going to see if we can help that gentleman over there. We can see he's running around, and he's looking over his shoulder. Killer isn't chasing somebody, but he's standing still, so I know the killer's not chasing him. I know he is watching the killer chase the other guy. So rather than being there and physically seeing, so I can run over there and do nothing, or alternatively, I can run over here and start opening the other exit gate in case a really bad situation happens where we have to use this door rather than the other door. Now, these doors, to me, aren't very good designs because they're both isolated on edges of the map with no window, no pallet. If an Oni comes over here, a Blight comes over here, a Leatherface comes over here, anyone with any form of threat or lethality, a Hillbilly, you're in deep trouble. There's no real pressure that you can apply. Alright, he got an axe hit in the guy's back. Both doors have been prepped. I'm right in front of another door. I'm gonna open the door. Alright. So, he tried to stop me from opening the door, which is fine. I will come in. Oh, they got the heal on the guy. It looks like he is going to just stand there. Alright, I'm gonna drop the smoke bomb. Alright, looks like they are going to just be messing around a little bit here. Oh, don't be exposure. Woo. Looks like they're going to just mess around a little bit at the end. Alright, guys. Well, that was an educational informative Dead by Daylight Survivor game. It goes to show you the killer lost because he fell for Survivor baits. What do I mean by that? There was one teammate who was on death hook. That teammate was with me. Rather than me running away I made sure that he followed me, he tracked my scratches, and he applied pressure towards me. Now, yes, he got to hook me, but what did he get out of that? We knew he had 3 or 4 totem-based perks. He didn't have Pain Res, he didn't have Grim Embrace, he didn't have Deadlock, he didn't have Dead Man Switch, so he got no form of stability in order for catching me, and we got to preserve a player, keeping them alive in the trial. That was an educational informative Dead by Daylight Survivor solo queue game. If you enjoy the educational informative content, make sure you tune into the live stream. I do educational informative DVD killing survivor content over at Twitch. If you guys want to pop on in. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the fog in the next video. Have a good one. Cheers.